someone who's considering a Senate run to replace him, what? You're not? Usually when someone puts out a book, it means they're going to run for office. Not always, but that always is.
Isn't writing a book the fastest way to get rich in America right now?
No.
You said it was OnlyFans.
No, you don't get rich writing books. I hate to tell you, bro.
Too late.
Anyway, what do you believe will be Mitch McConnell's legacy? I guess that's who you'd be replacing, right?
Yeah.
When you run for Senate, if you run for Senate.
That's Republican Scott Jennings cracking a quick joke on Real Time about maybe running for Senate, just before flipping the whole vibe of the show. What started out playful turned into a total red pill moment as Jennings completely schooled the panel, left Bill Maher stunned, and had the audience cheering. This is what happens when a sharp conservative walks into enemy territory and actually knows what he's talking about. Jennings proved he's not just a CNN heavyweight, he can intellectually dunk on cultural icons too. He calmly tore down the progressive narrative, laid out Trump's foreign policy in a way that made even Maher's crowd nod, and set the stage to dismantle the left's cultural rot. Here's the moment Jennings started unloading on Trump's peace through strength vision.
Now we have the Trump doctrine, which is, I think, as much of a departure as any doctrine a president has ever promulgated. Because what he is saying is, and I'll give you some of the quotes, is in the end, the so-called nation builders wrecked far more nations than they built. This is his speech in Riyadh. Interventionists were intervening in complex societies that they did not even understand. Now, I got to say, this is something people on the left said about Vietnam. Societies we did not even understand. We said it about Iraq. What are we doing here? But Trump is basically saying, we don't give a shit about what your morality is. And again, it's a hard one for people on the left to argue with, because they're the ones who say America's so evil. So his doctrine is basically, you do you. We all love money. We all love money, and we're not going to lecture you or hector you anymore about your moral. Biden would not talk to MBS after he cut off the guy's head, and then 6 months later, when we needed Saudi Arabia, he went over there and fist bumped him.
Something about the Republican doctrine that is fascinating to me. I've been in the party for 25 years, working in it. We've always been war and peace. I think Trump has changed it to peace and war. He talks about peace more than he talks about war. He's still hawkish enough to bomb people that need to be bombed, like the Houthi rebels. But I get the feeling he's responding to all these new inflows of constituents to the Republican Party. Maybe they were Democrats before, maybe they weren't even political before, but they would much rather hear an American president talk about peace. And the banner in the Middle East at his rally this week said, peace through strength, which is probably one of the most enduring slogans from the Reagan era. He doesn't agree with him on everything, but on that, I think he's right. But putting peace ahead of war, pretty popular with the American people right now. I was on this.
You know, things are going south for the left when even Bill Maher's audience starts applauding a breakdown of Trump's foreign policy. That's not just a win, it's a full-on reality check. Jennings didn't have to yell or throw punches. He just laid out the facts so clearly that even progressives in the room couldn't help but agree. No new wars under Trump, the Abraham Accords, Iran on its knees, and billions not being tossed into the wind with zero oversight. Then he pivoted to the rot eating away at our culture, porn, gambling, OnlyFans, and the silent epidemic hollowing out young men and women. Maher had no response. Just blank stares and quiet defeat. Jennings said what everyone's been thinking, and Maher was left completely speechless.
I mean, we put the devil in your pocket every day. Porn, sports gambling. I mean, these young men, I think, are somewhat in crisis because we put things in their hands that they had to previously work to get, and now they don't, and so it's easier to do that than to have a relationship. I think
back in the day, you had to earn it.
but I think you know, I'm like you. I tend to, when you're an adult, I'm sort of not sure I'd be in league with banning things for adults. It's a hard thing to do. However, there is something wrong with our culture on this front. I mean, look what we're teaching young women right now. We're teaching a whole generation of young women that the best and fastest way to get rich is to have sex with people in front of strangers for money. We're teaching...
You're talking about OnlyFans?
I'm talking about OnlyFans. We're teaching young women that if you can have sex with 500 or 1,000 people in a short period of time, you'll be a cultural icon, and that is corrosive for the culture. And so to your point, it's different than it used to be, and I mean, what are we teaching these girls? It's not just the boys. What are we teaching them about their own personal humanity and values?
Okay. I don't think we're teaching them. I think they're doing it because the economy sucks. But yes, desperation leads people to do things just like that. I don't think most of them would want to do it, but I mean, we know in this state, there's no way a person can live in this state on a normal salary. They're just, and that's one reason.
So you
why.
can either start OnlyFans or get a new governor or a new government. Maybe you should try that. I mean, I mean, you could change your politics, you know?
No.
Yeah.
Trust me, I don't feel undertaxed here in California. I've complained about the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you could practically see the fear in Ma's eyes when Jennings started exposing the decay festering under modern culture. He didn't shout, he didn't sneer. He laid it out calmly. We're putting the devil in every young person's pocket, handing them instant access to porn, gambling, and distractions without limits. And Ma, he sat there frozen. This wasn't just a zinger on late night TV, it was Jennings tearing off the mask of a cultural ideology that claims to care about people while actively destroying them. Jennings struck a nerve. He talked about how young men today are facing a crisis not because they're lazy or broken, but because society feeds them poison and calls it progress. They no longer have to earn anything, not relationships, not success, not meaning. And what are they left with? A loop of dopamine hits from a screen, slowly draining them of ambition, confidence, and identity. That's not liberation, it's collapse. And Ma, the champion of edgy commentary, had nothing, not even sarcasm to shield him. Then Jennings pivoted, calling out the epidemic of women being told that sexual exploitation is empowerment, that if you can rack up enough followers, enough views, enough customers, you'll be a cultural icon. He didn't say it with judgment, he said it with heartbreak, because somewhere along the way, society stopped teaching self-worth and started celebrating self-destruction. That's not progress, that's a bait and switch. And for once, Ma's studio audience didn't laugh, they clapped, because they felt it. He wasn't just pointing fingers, he was holding up a mirror. This isn't about banning things or policing behavior. It's about the values we've traded away for convenience and profit. Jennings reminded everyone watching that culture shapes people more than policy does. And if we continue down this path, glorifying dysfunction, mocking discipline, and ridiculing faith and family, we'll raise generations who are rich in followers but bankrupt in purpose. And that's why Ma had nothing, no punchline, no smug comeback, because Jennings didn't attack him, he attacked the system Ma's built a career defending. And when faced with undeniable truth, even a professional provocateur couldn't dodge it. That moment of stunned silence, that was Jennings winning without raising his voice. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time.